You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion. Delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest, first timer on Ron Siegel Radio, Frank Garcia. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And of course, we're celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. I love to celebrate. Let's see what we've got on. National Chai Day or Kai Day or Chai, whatever you call it.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I don't even know what you call it, but I know it looks to me like it's overpriced when I go to Starbucks. Of course, everything's overpriced when I go to Starbucks. National Pecan Cookie Day. Having beaten anorexia, that's the one we're going to go with today. National Pecan Cookie Day. Although almost any cookie works for me. Have you ever gone and checked this one out? C. Kruger, I think, is the name of the company. They make some great cookies. You can use them for gifts, the whole 9 yards. Just think about it. I'm sure that they've got a cookie for National Pecan Cookie Day. I can sit there and think about that all day, but then you get bored and you wouldn't listen to us. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing. Dow Jones Industrial Average down 196 points.
Ow!
Yeah, the S&P 500 is down 49. The NASDAQ is down 180 points. The only thing I'm seeing on the market page today right now is that oil is down 9 cents a barrel. It's an ugly, ugly day watching the markets. Of course, it was an ugly day watching the markets yesterday, too. Did you see what happened in the markets? And we actually talked a little bit about this and the concept of what was going to go on with all of this. Well, if you listened to the broadcast yesterday, we talked a bit about it. We knew it was all about the Federal Reserve. We didn't care what their statement policy was because we knew what that policy would be. We knew what they were going to say. We knew they were going to tell us that they were going to do absolutely nothing. But here's the issue. We also knew that it was the comments that Jerome Powell makes afterwards.
Such an idiot.
Yeah.
Such an idiot.
So Jerome Powell made his comments afterwards, and the market went from the mortgage-backed securities actually went from being up about 20 basis points to down almost 30 basis points. That means interest rates took a big jump. Why? Not because it was anything we didn't already know. We already knew that the economy is a little stronger than Powell would like it. We knew that they were going to have to keep interest rates high for longer. We all knew all these things, but the way Powell puts it, it causes havoc in the market, and we consistently see these problems. So just watching that, we kind of knew where we were going. Interest rates are staying at a high level. No surprise there. Just watching these markets for you. Now, gasoline, remember, here's the issue with gasoline. When oil prices go up, gas follows immediately. When oil prices go down, it takes a while. Just the way it works. So we did see gas prices finally stayed about the same from the yesterday to today. But if you look a week ago, now I'm looking right now, gas prices right here in the formerly Golden State, $5.79 a gallon. A week ago, $5.50 a gallon. A year ago, $5.50 a gallon. Not going to be good news when you think about all of these things. But the economy's doing well, ask the president. Guess they don't realize what we really feel. I mean, they want us to believe that everything is hunky-dory. But then again, have you gone shopping lately? Oh, wait. Maybe you're not going shopping right now because you're spending all your money at the gas tanks. But Powell, when he was asked, finally, now it took a while through the entire press conference. His statement, he didn't mention oil or gas. In his press conference, it took until finally, one of the reporters asked him about gas prices and how that's feeling. And his comment was about as ludicrous as you could possibly get, but it is what we expect from Jerome Powell. He basically said, well, they don't worry about oil energy prices. That's why they look at core. They don't look at food and energy. Do you? I don't know. Maybe you've got a different solution than I do. But in my house, my family likes to eat. Maybe Jerome Powell's doesn't. In my household, we need to fill our cars with gasoline. Maybe in Jerome Powell's, they don't. Where does the extra money come from if you're spending double at the gas tank? Now, I used to be able to fill up one of my cars for probably $50, $60 for the tank. Yes, it is an SUV. Now it's over $100. Now, my kids say, well, Dad, I'd like to get my tank filled a little sooner than that so I don't have to spend as much money. I said, that doesn't matter if you go and it's just pushing it down the road. The fact of the matter is it's taking more money to fill your gas tank right now. And that means if you're prudent, that means you have less money in your budget. Now, here's the next thing that you're going to have to watch. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you right here, Ron Siegel Radio. November 1st, there's going to be another Fed meeting. The markets are not projecting another Fed funds rate increase at the November 1st meeting. There's a meeting the 13th or 14th of December. And the Federal Reserve came out and said they expect at least one more rate hike this year. So you do the math. There's one the beginning of November. There's one the middle of December. If they're not going to do it at the beginning of November, guess when the other one's going to be? Guess the Federal Reserve has a Christmas present for you. Yeah.
Such an idiot.
And you wonder why I refer to Jay Powell and the Federal Reserve as a bunch of idiots. Now, they've done good. They hired 400 or 500 economists, PhDs in economics. But who's making the policy? Half the characters making the policy, they're lawyers. I don't know about you, but I don't like it when lawyers are making policy. Look at all the other things that are going on. You got a lawyer making, well, San Francisco, you got lawyers. Los Angeles, you got lawyers. New York, you got lawyers. Maybe the lawyers are not the ones that we want to be making our policy for us. I'm just throwing that out there for you. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to learn about life insurance, who needs it, and are there more purposes than just paying when you die? We'll talk about that. The many non-financial benefits of home ownership. Tips for improving your credit, the types of credit accounts in your credit report, all that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down. Sure, we might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. And I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR, only locked rates with consumers across 42% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. Conforming loans yesterday locked at 7.222, up a little bit. 30-year jumbo loans locked at 7.442, up a little bit. 30-year FHA loans locked at 7.043, up a little bit. 30-year USDA loans, that's generally our no down payment rural area loans, 6.909. That was down quite a bit. And the best loan on the market for those that earned it, you cannot just apply. That would be the 30-year VA loan, 6.789. We thank our veterans every single day. And if you want our update each morning on what our commentary is for the markets, our oversight, rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com. Go there, register, and we put out that email as early as we can every business day. And let's take a look and see what's going on in the markets today. Well, we've got the 10-year Treasury. That one is up 11 basis points. That's a big jump for the 10-year Treasury. We've got the S&P 500 down 49.77. And we've got mortgage-backed securities down 44 basis points. Remember, when the bond goes down, the rate goes up. Just the math. That's the way it works. So we're watching all of those for you. We got initial jobless claims this morning. Measures individuals filing unemployment benefits for the very first time. Reported at 201,000 claims for last week. This represents a decrease of 20,000 from the previously revised report of 221,000 claims, when it was fewer than expectations of 225,000. That's good news. People are not losing their jobs. If you're thinking that it's going to help the stock market or the bond market, well, it's not, because the economy is still humming along, according to our friend Jay Powell, who continues to give us this information. Existing home sales, which tracks closings at existing homes, decreased by 0.7% in August at 4.04 million unit annualized pace, which was below the 4.1 million estimate. Supply was down 14.1% from a year ago, and the median existing home price was $407,000 in August. Chapman University, are you listening? It's a 3.9% gain from a year ago. Chapman said we were going down 11%. And I love my friends over at Chapman. I actually served on the economic forecast staff in the 80s, long time ago. According to the Fed statement, let's see, the Fed leaves the rates unchanged at the current range of 5.25 to 5.5. Economic activity has been expanding at a solid pace versus moderate in previous statements. Job growth slowed but remains strong versus being robust in the previous statement. Isn't it amazing how they watch every single word in those statements? Fed forecast, GDP increased from 2023 from 1% to 2.1%. Unemployment rate decreased for 2023 to 4.1 to 3.8. So they're basically saying there's not going to be any change for the rest of the year. PCE inflation increased from 2023 from 3.2 to 3.3. PCE core inflation 2023 3.9 to 3.7. And the Fed funds median forecast 5.6%. So they're still saying it's going to go up another quarter. We'll be watching. That's just kind of the information that we're getting out of the Federal Reserve meeting from yesterday. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. Do you have a phone? Make the call. You're right about the time right now where you can actually take advantage of what's going on in the marketplace, potentially help your budget, and have a much nicer holiday season. Just throw that out there for you. Again, that's Geneva Financial. Let's chat this morning. We've got our guest, Frank Garcia. Insurance KO is the name of the company. Talking about insurance. Good morning.
Good morning.
So tell us a little, what are you doing in the insurance world? There's all, you hear there's, we have medical insurance, we've got group health insurance, we've got home insurance, life insurance, we got insurance for pet insurance.
Yes.
What part of the world that world are you covering?
I specialize in group medical insurance for employer groups, for employees, for helping employers to attract and retain their most valuable asset, which is their employees. I also do life insurance, a lot of that in protecting business owners and family individuals for mortgages, or protecting the loss of income for their family in the event that something happens to them. We also do a lot of long-term care insurance.
You got to back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you made a comment there that for benefits, everything you mentioned there in the life insurance area was for people that are alive.
Of course.
Many people think that life insurance is only to pays out when someone dies.
Correct.
Are we missing something? Does it help people when they're alive too?
Of course. The benefit of life insurance, term life insurance, is strictly a product that is either annual renewable, guaranteed for a 10-year period, or decreasing term insurance as it decreases. Somewhat people may buy that decreasing term as far as for a mortgage protection. But there's also permanent life insurance, and permanent life insurance is a way that people can use a fixed asset or a investment asset to grow money for future use. And the nice thing about that is if you do that early in life, you can lock in your cost and you can grow your money on a tax-deferred basis over many, many years. And then you're able to take money out of it on a tax-free basis. And that can significantly help you in retirement or future needs for different things that you need money from.
I'm kind of a big believer, and I'll then get your thought, is I like using life insurance vehicles in lieu of a 401k or an IRA.
Exactly. Because, a 401k or an IRA is what they call qualified money, meaning you're putting money into it, but you're never paying taxes on the money you put in. So when you take it out, you're going to pay taxes on it at that time. With a life insurance policy, is you're putting money in, you're normally putting it in on an after-tax basis, and it's accumulating on a tax-deferred basis, meaning you're not paying taxes on it as it grows.
Sounds like a Roth IRA.
It can be like a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA, exactly, which is very attractive for growing money for retirement also. You don't get to deduct it when you put it in, but when you take it out, it grows. Whatever it grows to, you don't pay taxes on that. So yes, it can be significantly beneficial. A lot of 401ks now have the option to put in traditional 401k money, which is qualified money, and then whatever percentage, say 50% qualified, the other 50% in a Roth IRA, a Roth 401k. So it grows,
Now, what about the concept of, we talk, we do a lot of tax planning discussions.
Yes.
And I'm not a CPA. I'm not a lawyer. I don't give tax advice. I don't give legal advice. Don't have those licenses any longer. And I don't even have a financial advisor's license anymore. I used to have financial advisor and life insurance.
Yes.
But one of the comments the thoughts is, if I set up a family corporation, family entity.
Yes.
Can I have a benefit of the corporation paying for life insurance for all of our employees?
Yes, you can pay up to $50,000 of life insurance.
Up to $50,000
for each employee, and you're able to pay for that. And the employee doesn't have to declare that as a benefit for themselves, and the employer actually pays it as a benefit for the employees.
So now, if I do 50,000, is that for the entire tenure that the employee is with me, or is that each year?
No, he would have a $50,000 term life insurance policy on an ongoing basis every year. Now, when he gets older, when he hits age 65 or a little bit older, then the face amount of that $50,000 will be decreasing.
It'll be decreasing.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't do that into a universal life or a whole life?
Yeah. Now, what I just described was group term life insurance, $50,000 for your 30 employees. Now you're able to design and create what they call key man life insurance that you can purchase for a key employee, someone that's looking at possibly taking over the company or getting a percentage of the company. And the key individual, if you lost that person, could be a significant problem to the company. So the employer can purchase it as a key man life insurance. They can be the owner, they can be the beneficiary, they can also be the owner and 50% beneficiary of the policy, and the key employee can have 50% beneficiary designated to their loved ones, their family.
Interesting. So there's a lot of different financial planning opportunities through insurance.
Exactly.
People don't think about that. They think about, most of the people that I talk to, they're saying, well, I need car insurance and I need house, property insurance. And if I die in my family, I want life insurance for my family.
Right.
But it can be a whole lot more impactful or strategic.
Well, exactly. And the thing that's nice about the life insurance is that I can buy it for Ron. Ron's a key man of this radio program.
Yeah, but then you might want to knock me off.
Well, but we wouldn't want to do that because then you get caught. But we could buy key man life insurance on Ron because he's the major going of this radio show, right? And the other people that are involved in the radio show, we don't have to buy life insurance on them. And we can do that and not have any discrimination issue pertaining to one employee versus the other employee, which is a unique feature, which is very beneficial. And it's a way to attract and retain high quality employees that are key individuals, kind of a golden handcuff effect. As long as you work here and you stay for the next 10 years, we're going to purchase this policy after a 10-year period. We'll talk about this policy now automatically becoming your policy so you can keep it. It'll be your policy for the future.
That's an interesting concept. We're going to continue our conversation using life insurance for financial goals. We'll talk more with Frank Garcia about that. The many non-financial benefits of home ownership, tips for improving your credit, the types of credit accounts in your credit report, and more. Reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. The many non-financial benefits of home ownership. Buying and owning your own home can have a big impact on your life. While there are financial reasons to become a homeowner, it's essential to think about the non-financial benefits that make a home more than just a place to live. Here are some of the top non-financial reasons to buy a home. According to Fannie Mae, 94% of survey respondents say having control over what you do with your living space is a top reason to own. Your home truly is your own space. If you own a home, unless there are specific homeowners association requirements, you can decorate and change it the way you like. That means you can make small changes or even do big renovations to make your home perfect for you. Your home is uniquely yours, and by buying, you give yourself the freedom to tailor it to your individual style. Investopedia explains, quote, one often cited benefit of home ownership is the knowledge that you own your little corner of the world. You can customize your house, remodel, paint, and decorate without the need to get permission from the landlord, unquote. When you rent, you might not be able to make your place really feel like it's yours. And if you do make any modifications, you might have to change them back before you leave. But if you own your home, you can make it just the way you want it. That level of customization can give you a sense of pride in where you live and make you feel more connected to it. Fannie Mae also finds 90% saying, quote, having a good place for your family to raise your children, quote, unquote, tops their list of why it's better to buy a home. Another important factor to think about is what stage of life you're in. U.S. News breaks it down, quote, for those with young children, buying a home and putting down roots is a major driver. You don't want easy for me to say. You don't want the upheaval of a massive rent increase or a non-renewed lease to impact your sense of stability, unquote. No matter which of life's milestones you're in, stability and predictability are important. That's because the one constant in life is that things will change. And as life changes around you, having a familiar home and not worrying about moving regularly helps you and those who matter most feel more secure and more comfortable. Lastly, Fannie Mae says 82% lists, quote, feeling engaged in your community, unquote, is another key motivator to own. Owning your home owning your own home. Holy cow, my tongue is twisted today. I need more coffee. Maybe vodka. Owning your own home helps you feel even more connected to your neighborhood. People who own homes usually live in them for an average of 9 years, according to the National Association of Realtors. As that time passes, it's natural to make friends and build strong ties to the community. As Gary Acosta, CEO and co-founder at the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, points out, quote, homeowners also tend to be more active in their local communities. When you care deeply about the people you live near, you'll do what you can to contribute to your local area. Bottom line, owning your home can make your life better by giving you a sense of accomplishment, pride, stability, and connectedness. If you're thinking about becoming a homeowner and want to learn more, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continue our conversation this morning, chatting with Frank Garcia, Insurance KO. Now, we're chatting about a lot about life insurance, which many people think is death insurance, but doesn't necessarily have to be just for dying. And we're learning a bit about that this morning from Frank. And we've chatted about a number of different things. We talked about business, and not everybody's in business. But Frank, what's your when someone says to you, why is it important to have life insurance?
Well, I think everybody thinking about life insurance, the first thing they come to about dying. But my thought about that is
don't do it.
Yeah. Don't do it. Don't
die.
Don't do it. No. But really what it comes down to, the question is this: are you leaving or are you living a legacy? What's your story? Your story really is going to wind up telling a lot after you're gone. And every day that we live and we help people, we're living. But ultimately, really, when we have the passion that we all have in our financial services or whatever industry we're in, we're really leaving a legacy to our people. And leaving a legacy, what does that tell me? Someone leaves a legacy with a life insurance. They're not leaving unpaid bills. They're not leaving family, loved ones, the nation, their community upside down because now they're having to be taken care of by them. They're actually stepping up to the plate and doing what they have the capability of doing, which is having a product, a service, a plan in place to help them have money in the future, or to final expenses, take care of their needs when they're gone. And that tells you a whole lot about the person.
Now, what do you say to the individuals that are, I'm going to use myself as an example.
Yes.
Right? I'm old, I'm fat, and I'm bald.
Right.
Can I get life insurance?
You can get what they call is insurance that will pay after a certain period of time. If it may pay only return a premium the first year, the second year it'll pay like 50% of the benefit. After 3 years, if you live that period of time, then it would pay the whole benefit. And those kind of products are only going to be able to buy them up to maybe 5, 10, 25,000 maximum. See,
that's not going to do a whole heck of a lot then.
No, but I mean, it would leave something for your final expenses for somebody, to help take care of, funeral bills, etc.
Now, when you're again, someone like me, And I think I got my first life insurance policy just before my son was born. So that's a long time ago.
Yes.
So, but do you qualify for more or less life insurance when you're part of a group?
The group insurance, yes. Depending on the number of employees, it's in an employer group. They will give you somewhere between 100 automatically guaranteed issue, all the way up to $500,000.
What does
or
that
more.
mean, guaranteed issue?
Guaranteed issue, regardless of your health, your condition. If you're buying it through the employer, if you have enough employees in the group, what they do, they consume everybody together, and the insurable interest of the risk is equally valuable for them to enable them to do $100,000 for each employee that wants to apply for it.
Ah, okay. So old people can go if they got a job. Now,
Right.
does that insurance survive your time in the group, or does that expire when you leave the group?
That's a good question. When you leave an employer group, unless you have what they call is convertibility for the policy, then you probably lose the coverage when you leave the company.
So that's really not. It's just it's not
a
really even a
Band-Aid.
term insurance.
It's strictly a Band-Aid for the time frame that you're with the company. That's the reason most people want to get their own personal life insurance, because if they get that policy, that they know that policy is going to be there when they need it. Something else about the life insurance industry, which is a lot of people have heard about it. They call it selling a policy. A lot of times business owners or professionals or individuals, they've had a policy, $500,000, $1 million policy for 20 something years, and they've remained healthy and they don't really need it. Now, all of a sudden, they need more money. They need some kind of income to replace what they've lost or what they've not been able to supply themselves for retirement. Policies are sellable. They call it life settlement.
Ah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, life settlement. So you may have a policy for an individual. In fact, I'm working on a case right now. A business owner, $600,000. He's had the policy for 20 years. He has some cancer, and he also has some high blood pressure, and he's a diabetic, right? So we've got this policy out for bid right now under life settlement companies with all the different industries, all the different companies that look at it, and they're looking at that policy and saying, okay, how much can we give you for that policy? We will now be the owner. We will now be the beneficiary of the policy, and we will give you a check for buying it from you. That can be very beneficial for people. And
that's an interesting conversation. Yeah. That's a whole conversation in itself. Because,
exactly.
One of my early sponsors on the radio show 10 or 12 years ago was a life settlement company, and there were a lot of people that really looked down on that product.
Exactly.
Is it got a better reputation now?
Yes, significantly, because it's helping a lot of seniors with income and money that they don't have.
They get to actually enjoy that policy because, even if they don't need the funds right now,
right,
they can give it to their loved ones. And I mean, I liked it back then just because, the insured, who may also be terminal, could see the benefit of that. They could see that they're giving it to their kids or grandkids and really get a little enjoyment out of it, as opposed to they're going to get it anyway, but they're going to get it after you pass.
Exactly.
Interesting. So that's a whole nother subject. There's a lot that goes on within the insurance world, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Yes.
Now, do you have to be good health? I mean, I watch this all the time as far as the idea, I'm not a fan of smoking of any sort.
Right.
Does that exclude somebody from getting life insurance?
Being a smoker doesn't exclude you, but it's more expensive. It's probably at least 1.5 to 2 times as expensive for the same age person that's a non-smoker.
Do you ever get out of that, or is it once you've smoked, it's there for life?
Once you've smoked, you can quit smoking for a year, and as long as they, you don't want to be lying to the insurance company because they find out you passed away, you have a contestability period of 2 years. So once you've stopped smoking for a year, they'll definitely consider you for a non-smoker. You may not get the best non-smoker rate, but you can at least be a non-smoker. They'll consider that.
Well, now, if you are a smoker,
yes,
then the likelihood is you may at some point in time need, you're going to, everything that we know so far, and I don't want to get into the good or bad side of it, but everything, all these studies show that it's not good for your health.
No.
So one of the other subjects, maybe, how does that affect if I want to get long-term care?
Well, long-term care is another different animal, because that, you have to be in good health. You've got to have a good history of family genetics also can play a factor in you getting long-term care also. So,
is that even available now? I had heard at one time that was almost cost prohibitive unless you got it as a rider to a life insurance.
well, now the most attractive product now is a life insurance product with a long-term care rider that will pay anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4% of the face amount of the policy in long-term care benefit. An example, I'm doing a client right now for life and long-term care for $400,000, and we're going to do it for 2% with a long-term care benefit. So that'll give this client $8,000 a month in long-term care benefit.
$8,000 a month.
$8,000 a month, yes, until the $400,000 is gone. Or, which is the wonderful feature about this, that I've done this for a lot of business owners.
So they can live with
and
that. That's what,
individuals.
50 years, right?
Yeah,
My math is right. They can live with
50
that.
months. Yeah,
50 months. Sorry.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the nice feature about this program is that I've had business owners or clients and people say, well, I'm not going to need long-term care. I'll never need it. I say, okay, well, then the product that best fits you is life and long-term care, because we know we're all going to die. One of these days,
gonna
we're going to
happen.
close our eyes and it's going to be over. Well, the issue is with these programs is this.
I want to know, with that client that told you they're not going to need it, I'd love to know what kind of crystal ball they have.
Well, yeah,
I've never known anybody that knows exactly what their cause of death is going to be.
Oh, no. Well, the issue with this individual was that he said, oh, wow, you have a product that if I die, I get paid, and if I need long-term care, I get paid. I said, that's the product. I says life and long-term care. And so that's what we purchased for him. That's what he was able to put in place. And
So one of the important things that we're getting to, and we got to go, Josh already told me on past time, but it's the issue of getting great advice, because there's a lot out there that many of us don't even know about. You want to make sure you're talking to somebody that's going to give you some great advice, great counsel. Yeah. Frank Garcia, we're chatting with him this morning, Insurance KO. When we come back, we'll chat more with Frank Garcia about insurance. And I don't know, Josh will tell me if we can do Your Credit Matters or not. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you, but the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your budget getting blown up with high prices of gas and increased costs for other household needs? This is Ron Siegel, host of the daily Home and Finance radio program. Did you know if you have a low interest rate mortgage along with auto debt, credit card debt, or student loans, your family could potentially save $500 or more per month by restructuring these debts? If you'd like a free Borrow Smart analysis with our team, let's book an appointment to see how we might be able to relieve some stress. Schedule your appointment at rsrbsa.com. That's rsrbsa.com for your free Borrow Smart analysis. rsrbsa.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And as usual, I talk too much. So I'm just going to tell you the Borrow Smart segment is being brought to you by rsrstudentloanhelp.com, rsrstudentloanhelp.com. 41 million Americans have student loans that are going to start requiring payment in about 9 days. If you want to minimize that payment, go to rsrstudentloanhelp.com, check out the calculator, and see if it makes sense for you to minimize those payments. The laws are on the books. The question is, do you want to follow the law, or do you want to send more money? Kind of like, think about it like this. Do you want to just send all of your paycheck to the IRS, or do you want to follow the law and pay what's actually due to the IRS? That's kind of the same concept there. So you do what you think is the right thing. I like the idea of following the law and paying as little as possible. rsrstudentloanhelp.com, rsrstudentloanhelp.com. Continue our conversation this morning. Frank Garcia, Insurance KO is the name of the company. We're talking about financial planning, life planning, a whole host of things, all centered around insurance. And I don't know about you, but in many instances, many people that I talk to, insurance is a necessary evil. And for the real truth of it is, if you understand it, maybe it's not so evil after all. What is the definition of insurance? I ask this all the time when I have insurance people here. And it was inbred into me because I did have an insurance license, probably before half of our listeners were born. Insurance is nothing more than the transferring of risk. Right? You're transferring the fact, am I going to die? Yes. Well, if that happens, maybe I want some financial benefit from it, from me and my family, then I'm willing to pay an insurance company to take on that risk. Now, does the insurance company want to pay off? No, they don't want to pay off. But what they're willing to pay off for that financial gain that they're anticipating, and between you and me, about 95% of all insurance policies never, ever pay, not because the insurance companies are deadbeats. It's because we change our mind. We go to a different product. We go to a different group. Frank talked about that in the last segment. We had a term insurance and the term is over, whatever reason. So the insurance companies don't end up having to pay off following the rules of the contract. That's what an insurance policy is a contract. So when Frank's talking about some of these things here that we've chatted about this morning, you know, you can use this for a lot of different benefits. Right now, if you're in California, and I know a lot of you are, there's a lot of challenge in getting property insurance. We talked about that with Corey Neubauer last week or the week before. And I shared with you that you can use a Roth IRA to mitigate some of that problem with getting a higher deductible. Well, Frank told you in the last segment or before that there are insurance policies where you can actually access the money, right?
That's correct.
And you don't have to wait until you're 59 and a half, do you?
That's correct. That's correct.
So if you save some money through this insurance vehicle and you increase your deductible on your home, that's going to bring down the cost of that policy because a higher deductible means a lower cost, right?
Correct. Yes.
And you're kind of self-insuring that first $2,500 or $5,000 of claim.
Exactly.
So now, how does an insurance agent know this? Well, it's not by going online and filling out the stupid form that they have there. It's by sitting down with somebody like Frank and having a consultation.
Exactly.
What is a consultation with you encompass?
Oh, I do a consultation for free. We can do an analysis of the current programs that they
I mean,
have.
from as far as what are you trying to glean from me when we have that consultation, when we chat?
How and what kind of problems that you have, what do you see, and what are your needs going forward, and how would you like to address those, and how would you like to solve those problems? Part of what I say is, as Insurance KO, we knock out your worries. So bring me your worries, and let me help you get them knocked out.
That doesn't come up on the questionnaire online.
No, it doesn't.
Right? You got to sit down and across the table, or
that's right.
Over a cup of coffee or whatever, and talk about what's important to you.
Exactly.
Maybe I want to leave a legacy for my grandson to go to school.
Correct.
And I can kind of plan that through the process.
You can plan that in the process of developing and critiquing as you go forward, reviewing everything at least once every 2 years to make sure it's in place. The thing that I see with a lot of individuals is this: they don't review the contract. They say, well, my agent told me this. And they wake up, it seems like 7 to 10 years later, and look at it, and it's not what they thought it was. Well, what happened for the 7 to 10 years? Did we not look at it? You get a statement every year on it. Look at it and decide, is this what I really need to continue doing? Maybe you don't need as much life insurance when you're older as you need when you're younger. So there's a ways to modify and amend it to meet your needs currently. That is the most important thing. And, policies now today's are different than they were before. The cost of mortality is not any more expensive. It's actually less expensive, right?
I want to
And the
ask you a
class
question
rating,
about
yeah.
another issue that comes up. So I have a account at a credit union.
Yes.
And you talked in the last segment about these large group policies and plans and whatnot. and they always send me a notice about accidental death insurance.
Exactly.
Is that the same as life insurance?
It's accidental death life insurance is a policy that only pays on accidental death. If you have any other way of dying, they will not pay. That's the reason it's so inexpensive, and that's the reason they will issue it on you with no tests, no questions, etc. Just sign up for it. Yeah.
So it's not going to be as beneficial as the life policy.
No, I mean, if you accidentally die, they pay. If you don't, no, they're not going to pay.
So what defines accidental?
In the event that you have a car accident,
Okay.
you fell off a ladder, fell off the house, something,
Went to Los Angeles and got shot.
That's right.
Okay. I don't want nothing against Los Angeles, but
Exactly.
those are the issues that are covered in that.
Exactly.
So if you have a long-term, if you have a heart attack, is that accidental death or is
no?
That's not accidental.
That's not accidental.
Okay.
No.
So it gives you an idea that you can have different. Now, do people have different kinds of policies, or is it just one policy and that's all they need?
Well, no, I think answering that question is two-sided. It depends on what a person is looking for. How much volume do they need? Anywhere from 10 to 20% of income is good to replace your income. That's a great place to consider. Or I need enough life insurance to pay off my mortgage on my home, which the mortgage on my home is, $750,000. You see, that's what I'm looking for. Or now maybe I want to keep a $1 million policy, so I have $750,000 mortgage insurance to protect that, and I have another $250,000 of permanent life insurance that I can build equity and cash value that's going to be with me the rest of my life. Now I have a complete $1 million, right? It's in my budget, and I can work it and develop it and grow it as I grow with my, with my profession.
Now that $750 for the mortgage, is that the one you were talking about earlier that might be the declining balance?
It could be. It could be. A lot of mortgage companies want to sell you a mortgage product, and that's the declining, which doesn't make a lot of sense because it's expensive. For one thing, you can get it a lot less expensive by buying it personal, buying it directly, qualifying for it. See,
interesting. So again, got to have the professional guidance. That's the big issue with all of these things, and not because I'm sitting across the table from Frank, but the bottom line, I'm a big believer that, how long have you been doing this, Frank?
I've been doing this for over 25 years.
Over 25 years. And you probably talk to a lot of people.
Oh, yes.
So my point there is someone like Frank, 25 years of experience, talking to a lot of people, seen a lot of things. If I go on and I gave up my life insurance, I gave up my life insurance license probably about 20 years ago. So think about that concept. Do you think I have as much current experience as Frank does? No, not even close, right? So you got to talk to somebody who really knows what they're doing, knows what the current days are, have a consultation, find out what you need, and make sure you've covered your family for all the things that are important to you. If you want to meet Frank Garcia, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Be happy to put you in touch with him. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
An older by the minute.